still a celebratory air after euphoric scenes mark the standing down of President Mugabe, a man who once proclaimed that only God would remove him from office. So attention is now turning to his successor. Vice President Emmerson Mnangagwa expected to return to Zimbabwe shortly. We understand that he will be sworn in on Friday. Well, let's take you to Ben Brown, who is in Harare for us. Ben, just give us a sense of the atmosphere and where the focus is at today.
Well, the atmosphere is still very joyous. Euphoria, of course, last night. People celebrating, Lucy, long into the night. Let me just show you a couple of the newspaper front pages. Adios, Bob, with an exclamation mark in this Zimbabwean paper. After 37 years, Mugabe finally steps down. A picture as if he's walking away from office at last. And then the Herald, Tatar, comrade, president, and dawn of a new era. And that is really what Zimbabweans are very much hoping that it is, a new era. But I suppose the question is, will it be a new era? Will it be a new dawn? Because Emmerson Mnangagwa, the man who, as you say, is going to be sworn in on Friday, well, he was a pretty ruthless henchman within the Mugabe regime. He's been accused of masterminding massacres in Matabeleland in the 1980s. He'd been accused of rigging elections, of corruption. So he's not exactly a champion of human rights and democracy, his critics would say, but we'll have to wait and see. He is president, not permanently, but until the next set of elections next year in 2018. And I think the key will be to see if he really allows those elections to take place freely and fairly.
Then what does the future hold, though, now for Robert Mugabe and his wife, Grace?
That's a very interesting question. As we understand it, they are still here in Harare at their residence. They've been technically under house arrest since that military takeover. I was speaking to one ZANU-PF member of parliament today who said, you know, in terms of Robert Mugabe himself, there is no mood of vindictiveness, he said. I'm not sure if he's right or not, but no mood of vindictiveness against Mr. Mugabe. People just want him to be allowed to live out his retirement, to live out the rest of his life without being president. As for Grace Mugabe, this MP said, well, he wasn't quite so sure. She is much reviled across the country. There may be a thirst to prosecute her for corruption and so on. But what we don't know is whether, when the generals were negotiating with Mr. Mugabe, trying to get him to resign, whether they promised guarantees of safety and security for the Mugabes and their children, whether they promised, for example, immunity from prosecution. But for the moment, we gather they are still here in Harare.
Ben, thanks for joining us. Ben Brown in Harare. So